Good morning guys and welcome to the 12th episode of the Archery series. We're gonna install the bow sight and learn how to adjust the second and third axis. We're gonna install an HHA Optimizer Lite Ultra, amazing professional bow sight for only $300. The link is in the description. But you can choose any sight you like. I'm linking in the description the entire HHA shop for every pocket. And there are all the accessories and spare parts that you may possibly need. And just a little word of advice. Of course, I don't get paid from HHA, but I've been using these sights for 15 years. They are extremely accurate, easy to sight in, extremely durable, extremely effective. So if you need to spend some money on a sight, my suggestion, buy HHA. And on this site we have a second and third axis leveling kit extension bracket, indispensable if you want to adjust the second and third axis. So please buy that one as well if you don't have it, only $28. Link is in the description. And on my side I also have a side light and a 4x magnifying lens. Both of them are linked in the description. And let's get to work. Mount the side bracket on the bow riser. The bracket has got two sets of holes, two behind and two more advanced. Use the behind ones. That's gonna make the sight stick a little bit more out from the riser, and that's better for accuracy. Nock an arrow and make sure that the arrow rest is in the upright position. Using the adjusting wheel, lower all the way down the side bracket. That's the longest range that the sight will reach. And mount the scope as low as you can on the multiple holes that you have on the bracket. Just leave about 1.5 inches from the arrow shaft. This way you're making sure that you can use the maximum distance that the scope can allow on your bow. Place the tail of an arrow just right underneath the scope, parallel to the arrow that you knocked, and make sure that the fletching has got at least 1/2 inch clearance from the scope. And finish tie up the bolts of the scope on the bracket. Now before we start adjusting the second and third axis, let's make sure that the scope level is not damaged and it's accurate. Move the scope all the way to the left, place a level on the scope horizontal arm and make sure that it perfectly matches the level on the scope. We're ready to start adjusting the second axis. Clamp a level on the bow riser just above the arrow rest. Move the scope back to the middle and lock it. It's very important that you lock it so the scope arm sits in the right position. Release top and bottom screws on the scope second axis adjusting bracket and very carefully level up the scope, matching its level with the level on the bow riser. Tie up the screws on the bracket and double check that both levels are perfectly matching on the riser and on the scope. Tilt the bow down about 45 degrees and let's go adjust the third axis. Release the third axis lock on the bracket. Release the side adjustment lock and move the scope all the way to the right this time, all the way outward, so that the third axis offset is enhanced. Lock it so the scope arm sets in place, and with the side screw on the adjusting bracket, carefully level the scope with the level on the riser. Then move the scope back to the middle, lock it again as usual, and make sure that the levels are still matching. If they're not, fine tune the third axis a little bit more up until the two levels are a perfect match. Put the bow straight upright, move the sight left or right to fairly align it with the string, and we're done. We'll do the fine tuning when we sight in the bow. As usual guys, thanks for watching, and if you like the content, please take a second to subscribe. It really helps the channel grow.